Good morning, Anna. Thanks for tuning into the breakfast news on Rajya Sabha television. My name is Aishwarya Kapoor, and here are the morning headlines. Prime Minister Modi to hold summit talks with Indonesian President Joko Widodo in Jakarta today. Cooperation in maritime trade and investment to be discussed. Defence cooperation pact likely to be inked as both the sides look to further strengthen strategic interests. Banking services are to be impacted across the country. Two-day strike called by public sector bank unions pressing for wage revision from today. 10 lakh bank employees across the 21 PSBs likely to join strike. Repolling in 123 polling booths underway in Uttar Pradesh, Maharashtra and Nagaland for the Lok Sabha by-polls. Revote after VVPAT machines developed snags during voting on Monday. Lightning and hailstorms claim 60 lives in UP, Bihar, Uttarakhand and Jharkhand. Normal life thrown out of gear in coastal Karnataka in torrential rain. Schools and colleges are shut for 2 days. More rain forecast for the next 48 hours. And mercury soars in several states in the north, with many places touching the 45-degree mark. Sri Ganganagar in Rajasthan sizzles at 49 degrees Celsius. Our top story this morning, Prime Minister Narendra Modi will hold summit talks with Indonesian President Joko Widodo today, and both the sides are expected to ink agreements in the field of maritime security, defence, space and science and technology. Both the leaders will also attend a joint interaction with the India-Indonesia CEOs Forum. Meanwhile, we are getting these live visuals from Jakarta, where Prime Minister's itinerary is very busy today. He has begun his day with a wreath-laying ceremony today. And in the afternoon, he is also scheduled to hold talks with the Indonesian President Joko Widodo. The Prime Minister is also set to address the Indian community in Jakarta today. All right, let's get more details from my colleague Akhilesh Suman, who's joining us on the phone line. Akhilesh, tell us about the Prime Minister's itinerary for today.
Actually, you know that itinerary today is really very busy for Prime Minister. You know that he is going to meet President of President of Indonesia, and
Well, there seems to be some technical issue with that audio line, but these are the live visuals that we are getting from Jakarta. Remember, Prime Minister Modi arrived in Jakarta on the first leg of his three-nation tour to East Asia yesterday. He landed in Jakarta, and today the Prime Minister is scheduled to hold talks with Indonesian President Joko Widodo, and this is the wreath-laying ceremony at the Kalibata National Heroes Cemetery at the moment. All right, so the wreath-laying ceremony at Kalibata National Heroes Cemetery going on. This will be followed by the official welcome ceremony and the signing of the guest book. Let's get all the details from my colleague Akhilesh Suman, who is joining us on the phone line. Akhilesh, it is a busy day for Prime Minister Narendra Modi in Indonesia today. Tell us about the itinerary for the today.
Yeah, actually, you know that after ceremony in Kalibata National Host Cemetery, there will be official welcome ceremony of Prime Minister at Istana Merdeka. And after half an hour, he will have a talk with Indonesian president, and then it will be followed by delegation level talk and exchange of agreements and press statements. And after that, it is a joint inauguration of kite exhibition at the National Monument. This is a very important festival, and it is very important, that hobby of Indonesian people. And Prime Minister Narendra Modi is going to do that. And after that, he is also going to visit Arjuna Chariot. You know that Indonesian and Indian culture have so many of similarities, and many of Indonesians claim that the lineage of Ramayana and Mahabharata has been associated with Indonesia also. And if you go to Indonesia, you will find so many depictions of Ramayana and Mahabharata in that country. So Prime Minister is going to visit Arjuna Chariot. And the Indonesian president will be accompanying him in that visit, Astoria. And after that, he is going to also visit Istiqlal Mosque. That is one of the important mosques of Indonesia. And Indonesian president will also again will be accompanying Prime Minister in that visit. And you know that Indonesia is the largest Muslim population in the world.
Yes.
And India, interestingly, is the second largest Muslim population in the world. So it is both cultural connect between India and Indonesia in both Hinduism and also in Islam. So it is one of the very natural relations that we enjoy with Indonesian people and Indonesian government and culture. And after that, he is also going to address Indian community event at Jakarta Convention Center. And you know that yesterday when Prime Minister Narendra Modi reached there, it was a huge crowd welcoming Prime Minister, and Indian Indonesians are working here in a large number, and many of Indonesians met there and they settled there. So in that way, it is also very interesting thing. And whenever Prime Minister goes to any other country, he addresses the Indian community, and it is part of that sequence that he is going to address again.
Yes.
And then in the evening, he is also going to meet India-Indonesia CEO Forum. And India and Indonesia is trying to upgrade their economic relationship and trade relationship. And Indonesia, in one way, is very obliged to India because Indian companies are so active that it gives a job to Indonesians in the amount of 1.5 lakhs people of Indonesia are employed by the Indian companies. So it is going to be more deepened in this visit. And then in the night, there will be banquet hosted by Indonesian president. So this is the way that you conclude a day of any visiting dignitary when you give the banquet. And Prime Minister Narendra Modi is going to be a guest of the honor in that banquet hosted by Indonesian president. So this is the today's, really you can understand that minute-to-minute program. The Prime Minister is not taking even a breath, and he is rushing from one place to another the whole day, Swarya.
And thank you so much, Akhilesh. We'll keep coming back to you for more details. And as Akhilesh was telling us how significant this visit of the Prime Minister is to this country, considering the fact that this is Prime Minister Narendra Modi's first state official visit to Indonesia. Remember, President Joko Widodo had come to India twice, but this is Prime Minister Narendra Modi's first official visit to that country. And Prime Minister Narendra Modi interacted with the beneficiaries of the Mudra Yojana scheme through the Narendra Modi app on Tuesday. And during the interaction, Prime Minister Modi said that 6 lakh crore rupees has been disbursed to 12 crore beneficiaries in the last 3 years. He asserted that the Mudra Yojana has become a job multiplier. Take a look at this report.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi interacted with Mudra Yojana beneficiaries from across the country through a video bridge on Tuesday. The video conference was the second in the series by the Prime Minister, who interacted with various beneficiaries of government schemes. The Prime Minister said the scheme has empowered entrepreneurs to create new products and jobs in the market while freeing them from the clutches of moneylenders and middlemen.
मुद्रा योजना से न केवल स्वरोजगार के अवसर बने, बल्कि आज ये अपने आप में एक जॉब मल्टीप्लायर का भी काम कर रहा है। इस योजना की सबसे बड़ी खूबी यही है, मुद्रा योजना ने ये ब्याजखोर लोगों की चुंगाल से देश के युवा धन को बचाया है।
Under the Pradhan Mantri Mudra Yojana, the government has so far given out 12 crore beneficiaries worth 5.75 lakh crore rupees. Of this, 28% of the loans worth 3.25 lakh crore rupees were given to first-time entrepreneurs. Of the total loans disbursed, 74% of the total beneficiaries were women and 55% of the loans were given to SC, ST and OBC communities.
मुद्रा योजना एक ऐसी योजना है जो बिना किसी भेदभाव के पिछड़े समाज को आर्थिक एवं सामाजिक बल देने का, उन्हें एक सशक्त करने का काम सफलतापूर्वक किया है। जो कारवां बैंकों के साथ शुरू हुआ था, उसमें धीरे धीरे आज अनेकों संस्थान भी जुड़ते चले गए हैं।
During the interaction, the beneficiaries also shared their experiences with the Prime Minister.
अभी लेने से धंधा अच्छा चल रहा है मेरा, 2 पैसे बचता भी सर, बैंक भी भरता हूँ सर अच्छे से।
समय पर पैसे दे रहे हो बैंक वालों को वापस?
जी सर।
हाँ, लोगों को पता होना चाहिए, बड़े लोग तो उठा करके भागते हैं, लेकिन गरीब आदमी कभी भागता नहीं है। हाँ।
रिसर्च एंड डेवलपमेंट में फंडिंग कम हो रहे हैं, इसलिए हम लोग रिसर्च एंड डेवलपमेंट में फंडिंग होने से हमारा जो बिजनेस है वो उसका ग्रोथ भी होगा और मैं एम्प्लॉयमेंट भी जनरेट कर सकती हूँ।
The Mudra Bank was proposed in budget 2015-16 by the government with an initial corpus of 20,000 crore rupees. Apart from this, 3,000 crore was earmarked as credit guarantee corpus. Mudra classifies the borrowers into 3 segments: the starters, the mid-stage finance seekers and the next level growth seekers. For the last 3 years, the Mudra Yojana has given substantial impetus to the micro, small and medium enterprises sector, crucial for the country's transformation. Kriti Mishra's report for Rajya Sabha TV.
And the BJP kick-started its massive outreach program, Sampark for Samarthan, on Tuesday to share the achievements of the Narendra Modi government with the well-known people from across various fields. Take a look at this report.
BJP President Amit Shah launched the party's massive outreach, Sampark for Samarthan, to showcase the achievements of the Modi government ahead of the 2019 general elections. Kickstarting the campaign, Amit Shah on Tuesday met with former Army Chief Dalbir Singh Suhag at his residence.
मैं तो गांव से जुड़ा हुआ हूँ, गांव में पैदा हुआ हूँ, तो जो बेसिक प्रॉब्लम्स हैं गरीबों की, किसानों की, वो बेसिकली हमने डिस्कस की, उन्हीं पर बेसिकली हाईलाइट हुआ है।
BJP President Amit Shah also met former Lok Sabha Secretary General Subhash Kashyap as part of the party's Jan Sampark program. He also informed him about the government's flagship schemes and their success rates.
बहुत सारी योजनाएं हैं जो बहुत मन को भाई हैं, बहुत कुछ हुआ है, बहुत कुछ होना बाकी है और हो रहा है।
मैं जनरल सुहाग के वहाँ गया था, कश्यप जी को भी मैंने सारा साहित्य दिया है और हमारी सरकार के काम से उनको परिचित कराने का मैंने काम किया है। आज ये लोक संपर्क अभियान की शुरुआत हुई है, देश के हर घर तक भारतीय जनता पार्टी पहुंचे, ये हमारा प्रयास रहेगा।
Prime Minister Narendra Modi will also hold a special session through the Namo app with the party workers to educate them about the campaign. During the campaign, Amit Shah will personally contact at least 50 eminent personalities, while every party worker will contact at least 10 people and share the Modi government's accomplishments with them. About 4,000 BJP functionaries, including chief ministers, union ministers, down to panchayat members across the country, will contact 1 lakh people during the drive. Now Vikram Singh's report for RSTV.
And on to the other top story of the day. Repolling is being held today at 123 polling stations across 3 parliamentary constituencies of Uttar Pradesh, Maharashtra and Nagaland. The repoll that began at 7 in the morning will end at 6 in the evening. Repolling is being held in 73 polling stations in Uttar Pradesh's Kairana, 49 polling stations in Maharashtra's Bhandara Gondia, and 1 polling station in Nagaland. The Election Commission had on Tuesday announced repolling in these polling stations after VVPAT machines developed certain snags during Lok Sabha by-polls. By-polls were held for 4 Lok Sabha and 10 assembly seats on Monday. Over 11% of the 10,300 VVPAT machines across 10 states had developed technical faults and had to be replaced. And banking services will be impacted as the employees and the officers of public sector banks have called for a 2-day nationwide strike from today to press for a wage revision. The bank employees are protesting against a nominal 2% wage hike offered by the Indian Banks Association. As the meeting called by the Chief Labour Commissioner for a reconciliation failed on wage revision, all the 9 constituents of United Forum of Bank Unions have decided to continue with the strike call. Now, most of the banks, including SBI and PNB, have already informed their customers that the functioning of the branches and offices will be impacted, and 10 lakh bank employees and officers under 9 banking unions are expected to take part in the strike.
बैंक की वेतन कर्मचारी अधिकारियों का वेज रिवीजन जो है बहुत बड़ा मुद्दा है। 5 साल के बाद कर्मचारियों का वेतन समझौता है जो है वो लागू होता है। 1 नवंबर 2017 से हमारा वेतन वृद्धि जो है वो ड्यू थी। जुलाई में हमने वो चार्टर सबमिट किया, लेकिन आईबीए ने जो मीटिंग्स बुलाई 10 राउंड यूनियन के साथ बातचीत की, लेकिन बातचीत में सिर्फ नॉन फाइनेंशियल इश्यूज के ऊपर बात करते रहे, जिसके कारण से हमें क्या वेतन वृद्धि मिलेगी उसकी उन्होंने कोई ऑफर नहीं किया। 5 जुलाई को वो एक ऑफर करते हैं, वो जो कि एक बहुत शर्मनाक था। 2% सैलरी रिवीजन की ऑफर करते हैं, जिसको कि यूनियन ने ठुकरा दिया और 2 दिन पे हड़ताल पे जाने का एक निर्णय लिया।
Let's get you all the weather updates. And heavy rains lashed various parts of South India as monsoon arrived in Kerala, Karnataka, some more parts of Tamil Nadu and Andhra Pradesh yesterday. Cyclone in Arabian Sea caused torrential rain and gusty winds, claiming 1 life in Mangalore city. Heavy rainfall resulted in waterlogging in various parts of the states. Now, schools and colleges have declared a holiday for 2 days. Rescue operations are underway in Mangalore as many trees were uprooted and houses were submerged in the wake of heavy rains and thunderstorms. The Met Office has forecast heavy and persistent rainfall in Kerala and Karnataka for the next 48 hours as well. And in a tweet, Prime Minister Modi said that he has spoken to the officials and has asked them to ensure all possible assistance in the affected areas. Meanwhile, the death toll from lightning and hailstorms has risen to 60 in Bihar, Uttar Pradesh, Jharkhand and Uttarakhand. In Uttarakhand, 3 children were killed and another was injured after a tree uprooted by the storm fell over their hut. In Bihar, 23 people were killed and over a dozen were injured in several parts of the state. Chief Minister Nitish Kumar has announced an ex gratia of 4 lakh rupees each for the families of the deceased. And in Uttar Pradesh, 18 people were killed and over a dozen injured in storm, rain and lightning related incidents. Central and Terai region of the state have been badly affected due to storm. And in Jharkhand, 12 people lost their lives and 28 suffered injuries due to lightning. The maximum number of deaths occurred in Chatra district. Meanwhile, northern parts of the country continue to remain under the grip of intense heat wave as temperatures cross the 45 degrees Celsius mark in several places of the country. New Delhi and the NCR region will endure continued sweltering heat right into the weekend with no relief in sight as the maximum temperature settled at 44.4 degrees Celsius on Tuesday. According to the Met Office, heat wave conditions are also likely to prevail in Punjab and Haryana for the next 24 hours. Jammu witnessed a further intensification in heat wave conditions as the city recorded its hottest day of the season with mercury touching 43.5 degrees Celsius yesterday. Sri Ganganagar in Rajasthan recorded the highest temperature in the state at 48.7 degrees Celsius. I beg your pardon. And here is a look at the weather conditions across India. That's all in this edition of Breakfast News. But before we go, here is our special report. The NDA government introduced the Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao scheme in 2015 to strictly enforce the law against female feticide and gender discrimination. Now, so far, 640 districts of the country have been added to the scheme. But to get to know the extent of the improvement in the situation, the Rajya Sabha team visited Sonipat in Haryana, which was selected in the year 2015, where female feticide and gender discrimination were common. Take a look at this report. Thanks for watching.
डॉक्टर साहब, हमारे गांव में लड़कियां इतनी कम क्यों हैं?
अरे वाह मैडम, टेस्ट कराने आप आई हैं और सवाल भी आप ही कर रही हैं। ये सब आप लोगों की वजह से तो होता है।
मतलब?
खैर छोड़िए इन सब बातों को, तीर निशाने पर लगा ही नहीं।
क्या?
लड़की है।
Meet Meera. We are not revealing her face and identity as per her request. Meera is one of those brave and progressive women who support the local administration to catch the criminals who eliminate and remove female fetuses. Though sex determination tests are banned under the Preconception and Prenatal Diagnostic Techniques Prohibition of Sex Selection Act 2003, commonly called the PC-PNDT Act, it continues to thrive in the dark alleys of small towns. Asha is a vigilant whose mission is to bring these culprits to the book. A committed supporter of child rights, she believes in treating both girls and boys equally. She will deliver her second child soon.
मेरी एक 2.5 साल की बेटी है और अगर मेरे को दूसरी भी बेटी होती है तो मैं उसको भी उतना ही प्यार दूंगी जितना मैं अपनी पहली बेटी को देती हूँ। मेरे लिए लड़का और लड़की में कोई फ़र्क नहीं है और मैं उन महिलाओं को भी यही बताना चाहती हूँ कि लड़का लड़की में फ़र्क ना करें।
Haryana has one of the worst sex ratios in the country. To redeem its reputation, it has now taken Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao campaign in a mission mode. In the last 3 years, the state police has booked 590 violators under the PNDT and MTP Act.
हमने इससे पूरे इंटायर 3 साल में अब मैंने 40 रेड लगाई, टोटल 46 रेड, 34 है हमारी PNDT की और 12 है MTP की। तो जिसमें 36 है उसमें 24 जो रेड हैं वो आउट ऑफ स्टेट है और आउट ऑफ स्टेट सारी हमारी सक्सेसफुल रेड रही।
Initially, the 100 worst affected districts in the country came under the ambit of this scheme, out of which 87 districts had a sex ratio less than 918. 8 districts where the sex ratio was dropping below 918 and 5 districts where the sex ratio was above 918. These 5 districts were chosen to become the harbinger of hope for the rest. The state of Haryana has 12 of the worst affected districts, including Sonipat.
आज भी हमारे देश में 1000 बालक पैदा हो तो उसके सामने 1000 बालिकाएं भी पैदा होनी चाहिए। मैं जरा माताओं से पूछ रहा हूं, अगर बेटी पैदा नहीं होगी तो बहू कहां से लाओगे? अगर बहू पढ़ी लिखी चाहते हैं तो बेटी को भी पढ़ाना ये हमारी जिम्मेवारी बनती है।
The element of education was added to the scheme to ensure its success, though survival of the girl child was the primary objective. The government banned all prenatal diagnostic tests to achieve this objective. Strict punishment under the PNDT Act 1996 was envisaged. All offences under the Act are cognizable, non-bailable and non-compoundable under Section 27. It includes 3 to 5 years jail term and a fine of 15,000 for the spouses, doctor and lab assistant who use ultrasound or ultrasonography for sex determination. But unfortunately, the law failed to deter the culprits, especially in the states of Haryana, Rajasthan and Punjab. The sex ratio in 1951 was 983 per 1,000 males. It reduced to 945 in the next 40 years. even the PNDT Act failed to stem this fall. In 2001, it fell to 927. In 2011, there were just 918 girls per 1,000 boys.
इंस्टीट्यूशनल क्योंकि बच्ची को मारना अस्पताल में इज मोर डिफिकल्ट देन किलिंग हर जब दाई पैदा करवाती है, तो इसलिए इंस्टीट्यूशनल डिलीवरीज बिकेम कंपल्सरी। सेकंड, PCPNDT एक्ट में बहुत तगड़ी नज़र रखा गया। आई वांट अ लला लली बोर्ड इन विच कितनी लड़कियां हैं इस गांव में और कितने लड़के।
To implement the scheme at the grassroots, the government mobilized the services of Anganwadi and Asha workers. These workers go door to door and educate pregnant women against such tests and female feticide. This critical campaign is now gaining traction. In 2014, in Sonipat, there were just 830 girls against 1,000 boys. Post Beti Bachao Beti Padhao campaign in 2015, it rose to 867 girls per 1,000 boys. In 2016, it rose to 902. In 2017, it was 937. And till April 2018, it has touched 947 girls per 1,000 boys. It is believed that these figures will continue to rise in the future. It goes on to prove that any successful implementation of the law needs grassroots support, which happened in this case.
अब ज़्यादातर परिवार पढ़े लिखे हो गए हैं, अब सबकी सोच बदल गई है और बेटी हर जगह सर्विस करती है, किसी भी चीज़ में पीछे नहीं है।
बेटी पाल्या बेटे पाछे देख, हम तो ये होना चाहिए। देख हाँ यह तक होना है, आता कोशिश तो पूरी करे रहे हैं।
Prime Minister Narendra Modi recently praised the state's efforts in checking female feticide. According to him, Haryana has produced distinguished farmers, businessmen and brave soldiers. In such a distinguished state, female feticide cannot exist. Haryana has taken efforts to ensure female feticide does not happen. Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao is a harbinger of hope not just for Haryana but for the entire country. Anu Diwan's report from Sonipat in Haryana for Rajya Sabha TV.